Joe, I think that what we need to do is examine the entire Federal Reserve institution and whether they have been successful. I'm speaking, actually, I'm going to be in the building this evening. There is a regulatory conference that begins tomorrow. I'm the keynote speaker tonight talking about regulation. The Fed as well deals with monetary policy, regulations, financial stability. And again, I think that we should think, has the organization succeeded in its mission? You know, if this were the FAA and we were having this many mistakes, we would go back and look at why has this happened? I mean, look at as you said at the top of at the top of this broadcast, there was fear mongering over tariffs, and thus far we have seen very little, if any, inflation. We've had great inflation numbers. So, I think this idea of them not being able to break out of a certain mindset, all these PhDs over there, I don't know what they do. This is like universal basic income for, academic economists.
Wow. That is insane. It's so good.
Yes, Secretary Treasury Bissent questions the value of the Fed.
Yes.
Is Trump on a mission to kill the Fed?
I don't think he wants to kill the Fed. I think he wants to have it under his control, though. So if you look at all the pressure the entire administration has been putting on the Fed from all these different angles, the end goal is lower interest rates, and Powell's not accommodating. So the pressure is going to continue until he gets in line. And the reason why they want lower interest rates is because they need financial repression. Like Lynn Alden, Luke Groman have been saying this for 5 years straight. When you get into a fiscal dominant situation, the only way out is through financial repression. You've got to keep interest rates artificially low, run inflation high to devalue the debt. And Trump, Trump knows this. This is what the big beautiful bill is all about. This is why Elon's saying we have no choice but to grow out of this.
But I do think they're trying to kill the Fed, and they're trying to blow up these institutions.
I think
because they're not doing what they want.
Yeah.
They're acting emotionally, and they're trying to say, let's kill the Fed. And if we're going to give you the CBDCs, we're going to not give you. But a central bank digital currency. Let's break that down. Central bank digital currency.
Yeah.
You need an issuer. You need a central bank for the digital currency.
Right.
And they want to replace the Fed
with stablecoins.
With stablecoins, but issued algorithmically.
That
doesn't mean not, and
but they're not talking about
they're not talking about it now.
They're talking about.
But they want to kill the Fed. So who are they going to replace the Fed with?
Well,
this perfect computer. Yes. We built a perfect computer.
You buy
that's going to do what the Fed's supposed to do, and you buy
the original, the first bank of the United States. The Secretary of the Treasury ran the Fed. They were one in the beginning,
right? And they want to merge those probably.
They looks like they want to bring it back to that point. But the whole reason why they want to bring it back to that point is so they can run financial repression.
Totally, and I think
so they can devalue the debt relative to GDP. That's the end goal. And if it means killing the Fed, fine. But if you look at the other Fed officials that are talking favorably about a more what's the right word? A more favorable relationship with the Treasury, and working with the Treasury, working on what did they call, like a new accord between the Treasury and the Fed or something like that. They were saying, that this is where we're going, or where they want it to go. They want the Treasury and the Fed to be working together to save the United States from a full-on financial debt bubble pop. And so financial repression is what needs to happen. All right. The ETFs and self-custody. So self-custody growth has slowed since the ETF. Do you think we should be worried about Bitcoin centralizing?
Well, I think I don't think we should be worried about it in the way that we should be fretting. And, there's nothing you can do as an individual except to take custody of your own Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But I think this is a very interesting fact that Willie Woo points out. First time in 15 years, self-custody is not increasing in terms of adoption.
Yeah.
It's decreasing. And I think it's clear from the Bitcoin treasury companies and the ETFs that people are acquiring either new Bitcoin and not self-custodying, or even just exchanging into those things. But it's an interesting point to me.
Yeah. So I don't, and you know, if you, the only thing I can do is go back to the block wars where the nodes really made the difference. So regardless of how many coins one individual or entity owns, it's going to come down to the nodes. And I have recently changed my mind on this a little bit, and I could be wrong, and maybe I'll flip flop back the other direction again. But I'm thinking more in terms of the more institutions and the more embedded Bitcoin gets in Wall Street, the larger their financial incentive is to preserve the quality of the network. So I think to a certain degree, attacking it would be destroying their own revenue source
in the long term.
In the long term, as like the IBIT ETF becomes the most successful and largest, most profitable ETF ever,
most fees for them.
Then they have an incentive, financial incentive, not to attack the network. So I'm still torn. I don't like the idea that, you know, that people that don't have Bitcoin ethos are involved.
They also have a financial incentive to rehypothecate the Bitcoin.
Yeah, but Bitcoin is for enemies, and people are going to do stupid things with Bitcoin, and they're going to hurt themselves. But what's the protocol? Who's running the protocol? Who's forming the consensus? And so if we're maintaining decentralized nodes and we're maintaining decentralized mining, I think all the other games will be played and they go away over time.
I think you're right for sure. But it's an interesting stat to